Okay guys, so today's video focuses more on our outline, and so we're going to check our practice that you worked on yesterday, and then we're going to move on to the actual outline for our research paper. Okay, so grab your checkup 76, exercise 1 that's showing on the video right now. Also make sure you have the paper that I emailed this morning, step number 3 outline, with the kind of the skeleton of our outline for the research paper. Okay, so on this one, on the checkup 76, you should have centered your title, okay, and capitalized the important words, first word, last word, any other important words. The first main topic was deciduous trees, so I put that under Roman numeral 1, capitalize the first word of the entry. Now the next 3 items, leaves are shed in winter, have broad flat leaves, have flowers. These are all subtopics that go with the deciduous trees. Now this one starts with a verb, this one starts with a verb, this one starts with a noun. So we had to change something to make these all have parallel form. So I decided to change this first one. Since these two were already verbs, I decided to change this one and just use the verb first in the sentence. Okay, so I said A, shed leaves in the winter, B, have broad flat leaves, C, have flowers. Now they're all starting with verbs and it's fine. Main topic 2, evergreen trees. Capitalize the first word, evergreen trees. So then we have keep leaves in winter, have needle-shaped leaves, and cones. So these are all subtopics that go under evergreen trees. Starts with a verb, starts with a verb. This one's just a noun. So I changed this one to have at the beginning, so it started with a verb. So now I have keep leaves in the winter, have needle-shaped leaves, have cones for my subtopics. Okay? Okay. So now let's move on to the actual outline for our research paper, which is what you guys are going to be starting on. Okay, so today you're going to be again creating your topic outline. Use the following skeleton. This is what I'm referring to kind of as a skeleton to help you create your outline. Okay, when I say skeleton, what I mean is it's kind of like the framework for you to build on. Okay, be sure you're using parallel form as discussed. Main topics must begin the same way. Subtopics under a specific Roman numeral must begin the same way. Details under a specific letter must begin the same way. Be sure to remember, you can't have a Roman numeral 1 without a 2, which we have plenty of main topics. You can't have subtopic A without a B. You can't have a 1 without a 2. Put periods after the Roman numerals, capitals, and numerals. Capitalize the first word of each entry. Okay, so I just titled mine C.S. Lewis. Okay, you might title yours differently. Whatever the title of your research paper is going to be, make that the same title of your outline. So the first item on this is going to be the same thing on your outline. Your first entry is going to be introduction. It does not get a Roman numeral. We are just noting that we are going to have an introductory paragraph. Okay. My first main topic here is birth and family. Now you might have named yours a little different. Okay. You might have just named the whole thing early family life or family life, or you might have combined birth and family with childhood. Okay, so everybody's is going to be a little different. Okay, so I just used the main headings that I talked about the other day to be the Roman numerals of my outline. Okay, now I just kind of showed you some different ways that yours might be set up. You might, under birth and family, you might have subtopic A and subtopic B. Maybe you have a couple of details under one of the subtopics. Okay, maybe under childhood you have subtopic A, B, and C. Maybe you have a few details that you want to note. Okay, now remember that each of the main topics is saying this is going to be in a paragraph, this is going to be in a paragraph, this is a paragraph, this is a paragraph. Okay, our main topics note what our paragraphs are about. Okay, now what I wanted to do, now remember, like I said, your outline is not going to specifically look like this. You're not going to have accomplishments and career and have subtopic A, B, and C, 3 details under subtopic B, 2 details under subtopic C. Okay, yours might not look like that. I'm just showing you some different ways that it could look. Okay, now I'm going to grab my whiteboard here and show you an example of what one of your entries might look like. Okay, so I'm thinking about, I have introduction here at the beginning. Okay, remember I have title up here, introduction, and then my Roman numeral 1 I'm going to call birth and family. So maybe under birth and family, now remember you're using your index cards, your information cards, to create this outline. So your index cards should be organized according to the different headings, right? So once I get my birth and family cards out, I'm going to put them in the order I want to use them in my research paper. And then I'm going to start looking through them and creating my outline. So maybe for me, under birth and family, I might want to use A might be the date of his birth. B might be the location of his birth. Okay, and maybe for me, C might be parents and siblings. That may be what I mentioned there. And then that may be all I have in my birth and family paragraph. Okay, depends on the information that you found. Okay, yours may look very different. Okay, so then I'm thinking about later in the essay, or later in the outline, when maybe I have Roman numeral 4 and I'm talking about his adult life. So I go through my index cards, and maybe I have A, maybe I'm going to talk about a little bit about when he was in the military. And B, I'm going to talk a little bit about the things he did as an author. Maybe I'm going to talk a lot about it. I'm going to talk about his fiction books. I'm going to talk about his nonfiction books. Okay, you seeing how this is going, guys? And then maybe in my paragraph about adult life, maybe I'll move next to talk about his Christianity. And maybe I talk about how he was a non-believer, and then he became a believer. And maybe after that, in his adult life, I want to talk about what he did as a professor. Okay, so it depends on the information that you have and how you're going to organize it for your essay. Okay, you're going to be using your notebook or your note cards, getting them in the order that you want to present them in your essay, and then your note cards are going to be what you use to create this outline. Okay, so if something is discussed in your essay, it needs to be represented somewhere in your outline. Okay, our outline does not have to be super, super, super specific. Okay, I hope you see that I'm just using a few words to give a general idea to the reader of what are the different things that I'm going to be discussing. Okay? Okay. So over the next few days, this is what you need to be working on. Okay? By Friday, I want you to send me a rough draft of your outline. Okay? A rough draft of your outline. What Mrs. Dern is going to do is I'm going to look at your outline. I'm going to be looking for a parallel form. I'm going to be looking, do you have the main topics that we've discussed? Okay. If you have a subtopic under a main topic, remember you can't just have one subtopic. You got to have at least two. And if you have details under a subtopic, you can't just have one detail. You got to have at least two. Okay. So by Friday, I want you to send me either a picture, or you can just type your outline into an email, or however you want to do it. But I need to see what your outline is starting to look like. Okay, and I'll make some comments if it needs to be, or I'll say it looks good, and that's what you can keep to put in your final draft. Okay, so I'll either make comments, you need to change this, you need to change that, or whatever, and or I'll say this looks good, and that way you can keep it, because next week we will begin working on our rough draft. Okay, we'll use our index cards and our outline to keep us on track and begin to write the rough draft of your research paper. Okay, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.